Because there's a lot of talented artists in the Northeast, and it's basically a case of every talented musician from the Northeast has to move somewhere else to let that talent flourish. Rose Malice started when we were about 16 years old, with a lot of different band members. It's had a lot of people come and go, but I suppose at the moment what makes us us is both mine and Joel's songwriting. We both write our own different styles and different themes and stuff, and it creates a really cool vibe with when we're getting creative with each other.
I just think it's a great place for creativity and I don't know, a lot of cool people from the north. I think the main difficulty that you face being from the northeast is the lack of venues, at least in our area. Stockton has hardly any venues as opposed to places further afield. So we found ourselves having to gig at the same two places for years and years. It's hard to branch out.
I think because you can't build up that much of a reputation locally, it's hard to reach out to the places in the cities because you've not even managed to do loads in your hometown.
Yeah, they usually just ignore it, or they just don't want to. Yeah. They don't bother with you.
It's quite jarring.
Yeah.
Trying to build up momentum when it's you're stuck in a small northern town.
I think the grassroots venues are really, really important, because without those venues that offer places for bands to play that haven't got an established audience yet, or haven't had chance to go out and test the music, those bands would never become bands. They would never go on to the next stages. We run events at Independent for bands that have never played a gig before. We do buskers nights for bands, so we have chances for bands to come and play the first ever shows. I would say that location is a problem as well, and there's a major issue at the minute with bands. I mean, I struggle to book bands in Sunderland, persuade bands to come play in Sunderland, and then I talk to my friends in Newcastle and they're oh, we're really struggling to get shows, or more bands are missing Newcastle out of the tours, and I'm phew, if you're complaining in Newcastle, then that's bad, because I look at Newcastle and I'm oh, I wish we got some of the shows that Newcastle gets. And that all just comes down to financials. Bands are getting less money in advances off the labels, bands have got smaller budgets, they can't afford to go and play as many shows as they once could, and any shows that are not quite breaking even, or shows that are bringing in smaller fees or smaller crowds, are going to get cut from certain tours.
We have a really good friend who plays the bass. He's 17 and he's the best bassist I've ever met. One of them at least. And it's basically a case of every talented musician from the Northeast has to move somewhere else to let that talent flourish. A lot of the local musicians just don't believe they can make it. You'll talk to them and it's they don't think they're ever going to be able to make it as an original artist. They think, they want to do music, but they just don't think that's possible. I think that's partly because they're surrounded by that scene where it's impossible to make it. So I think it would breed confidence into the younger artists.
We do things like our multi-venue festival, Waves, every year, and that always has a big headliner and then some cool emerging bands from around the country. But then when we put a lot of local bands in amongst that, you find people who may be friends with one of the local bands will come out for the day and discover loads more bands, and that's when you always see the chatter about oh, there's way more talent in Sunderland than I knew existed, which is great to see, and it just shows that there is a lot of talent here.